So, how did it go last week? Did you find that you were holding on to grief and sorrow and unforgiveness anywhere in your body? Did you notice any places in your body where you felt that you were holding on to heavy grief? I had mentioned before in the last video that, it's common to hold on to grief in our heart and in our lungs. And I want to tell you guys that it's also very common to hold on to grief in your stomach, in your solar plexus area. Sometimes we can hold on to something that feels like it hit a blow to our ego in some way, or it hit a blow to where we feel the most powerful. So it is possible to be holding on to grief in your solar plexus. For me, I did find some in my solar plexus, and that is the biggest reason why I say this. And it's working through grief is one of the hardest things that we will ever really have to do, because a lot of the time our grief is something that we can't really change the outcome of something. If someone we love passes away, we can't change that outcome. If there's something that we've lost, usually we can't change that outcome and we wind up grieving. So grief is one of the harder things we have to go through, because there's an acceptance of something that we have to work through that we can't change. So with that, it's really important that we focus on this coming week looking at forgiving ourselves. And usually when we're holding on to grief, we're holding on to something that we just figure we can't let go of, or it's too hard to release in some way. And so we wind up holding on to these burdens, and it's really helpful to forgive yourself and allow for that burden to be healed. And the reason I'm saying we're going to do forgive yourself this week as well is because self-forgiveness acknowledges the things that you can do, the things that you yourself have done, and the things that you can do to help work through the process of grief. Many times when we are fighting with somebody, or if we are just holding on to something so strongly, we don't look at our own contribution to things. We sometimes want to blame other people. Well, if so-and-so did that, then it made me feel this way. And we tend to try and project the things in fights or in arguments or whatever. We tend to usually project these things and look at the other person's faults and not always look at our own. And so having that self-awareness is very, very helpful in mending fences and also in forgiving yourself. Because there are times that we do things wrong. I mean, we all do things wrong. Or not necessarily wrong, but we could have done something differently or done something better. And we see that in hindsight, because hindsight's always 20/20. So forgiving ourselves is the key this week, is the subject to work on. And it's just allowing yourself to objectively view a situation and then see where you could have done something better, could have done something differently. Don't hold on to those things like you're a bad person for not doing that, or don't hold on to any kind of judgment for yourself in a way where you should have been better, because this is how we look back and we go, I can be better for the future. I can do things differently. I understand that now. And self-forgiveness is one of the biggest things that we can do, is just healing ourselves. It all starts with us anyway, right? I mean, we live in this body. We experience being on this earth. It's all about, what you and your journey are going through. So it's really, really key to focus on looking at yourself and forgiving yourself for anything that you may be holding on to, and just being aware of your actions, your words, all these kind of things, because it helps you be more present, and it also helps you kind of live more in the moment. So self-forgiveness, you guys, if you don't have to forgive anybody else if you don't want to, but if anything, for your own peace and your own joy, working on the self-forgiveness aspect is going to be the biggest key, because then you're not carrying around any burdens or holding on to any self-shame or anything like that, because it's all about growth. It's all about learning and growing. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. You can leave me comments below. I always love hearing from you. And I will talk to you guys next week as we work through our grief and forgiveness chapter of the of the journaling for balance series. It just feels bizarre that we're already like halfway through November. It feels like, well, we're not halfway through. Today's the 8th, but it just feels like November's going by really quick. Then we're gonna have December, and then it's gonna be January, and it's gonna be a whole new thing. So, oh my gosh, it's been quite a year, huh? So, I will talk to you guys next week, and we will continue on from there. I love you guys, and you take care, and I'll talk to you soon.